Welcome to Storytime with Tallulah. Today's reading comes from r/RelationshipAdvice. Our first story is titled, My Mom Dumped My Siblings on Me and Ghosted. I have no idea what to do. Yeah, this is a doozy. I've been trying to post it since it happened, but just haven't really been able to process it. So I'm a 23-year-old male, and I'm the oldest of 5 siblings. The others are a 16-year-old male, 14-year-old female, 10-year-old female, and 10-year-old male. Our mother is severely bipolar, but very resistant to treatment, and to be frank, is an absolute crap mother. I've done my best my whole life to raise my siblings, and she clearly isn't going to, and I like to think I've done quite well. I managed to keep them out of the care system most of the time at least. 2 years ago, I finally moved out of my mom's house and started university. I stayed in the same town in case the kids needed me, but I decided I had to start putting myself first a little bit, and I couldn't keep putting off my own life because my mom is a failure as a parent, you know? With the exception of a few minor incidents, it's actually gone rather a lot more smoothly than I thought thus far. I currently have a house with 2 other students from my uni, though one is currently back in her hometown for the lockdown. So the problem. Yesterday, there was a knock on the door around noonish. I wasn't expecting anyone, but figured maybe it was the postman or the flatmate had ordered out for his lunch or whatever and opened it. To my shock, all 4 siblings all stood on the doorstep looking about as confused as I felt. 16-year-old informed me that mom had dropped them off here without saying why or where she was going. And she was in the middle of a pretty intense manic episode and was just sort of rambling nonsensically instead of answering any questions. Of course, I wasn't going to abandon the kids, so I let them in and have been trying desperately to get a hold of mom ever since. I know she's getting my texts because I've been sending them on WhatsApp and it's showing me she's reading them. Also, when I call, it's ringing 2 or 3 times and then cutting out, and she's clearly seeing the calls coming in and rejecting them, rather than it ringing out. I've tried reaching out to her friends with very similar results. I don't know what to do. I don't have the space for 4 kids in the house, and it's so unfair to my housemate. Though, bless his soul, he's an absolute angel of a guy and keeps telling me not to worry, and he's fine with it. I currently have the girls staying in other housemates' vacant room, with her permission, and the boys are in my room with me. Obviously, not ideal. I also frankly can't afford to take care of 4 kids all by myself. No idea what groceries are gonna look like from here on out. The kids haven't brought many belongings with them, so they don't have many clean clothes. 16-year-old male and probably 14-year-old female can get away with wearing my clothes if it comes to it, but I have no idea how I'm going to clothe the twins if they're here for more than a few days. I don't want the kids going into the system if I can avoid it. I have had too many traumatic experiences with it myself. Can anyone wiser and calmer than I offer some advice on what my options are here? I honestly don't know what to say. I mean, maybe she'll come out of her fit of rage in a couple days and come get them and come to her senses, but maybe she won't. Yeah, and I don't even know what it would be like to be in your situation. That's horrible. I don't even know what to say. I have no advice. I hope that the comments can help you, but yeah, that's very unfortunate. I'm sorry for your circumstances. Our next story is titled, My Girlfriend Destroyed My Tanks of Fire Ants. I'm a 25-year-old male and she's a 24-year-old female. Before you ask, no, she doesn't have a problem with me keeping fire ants. I'm quite sure that's not the reason. We had an argument earlier today. Later, I left to get groceries and let her chill out. Came back, soon saw the state of the ant room, spare smaller bedroom where I keep them. Guess I should have a crash course on ant farms, so this makes sense. Most have 2 compartments. One emulates the underground colony with tunnels and the chambers where the queen nests. Then this is connected to a tube to a second part that emulates the above ground world where the workers go to forage for food. Hope that makes sense. There's plenty of cool videos on YouTube of people's setups. So anyway, my girlfriend had disconnected the 2 compartments, dumped the colony on the floor, so that's soil plus ants, and dismantled the sides of the outworld part to leave the contents all over the place. I am lucky everything is plastic, or there'd probably be broken glass everywhere too. I've had these ants for over 2 years. There's hundreds of them. I have put hours and hours of work into growing this colony and crafting their environment. I know it will sound weird or stupid to some people, but it's my hobby, similar to keeping fish in aquariums. It's like if someone dumped out your water and threw all the gravel and ornamentals around. Plus, leaving your fish to die. Except while I'm sure some of the ants have died, plenty are still alive for now. They have free effing range of the entire house now. I am furious. Red ants are an invasive species that's gained a foothold in some parts of the country. Luckily not our part because of climate, but as long as they're alive, they'll sting any unsuspecting person who comes into contact with them or is walking barefoot. They can cause serious allergic reactions in some people. This can be fatal. Ants are drawn to dark places, so they'll very likely go into the walls, and don't worry, yes, I've thoroughly alerted the other tenants in the house what happened and how to protect themselves. This is serious crap, and my girlfriend could not be effed to think of anyone else as long as she got her revenge. I'm just so upset because I put so much research, always took utmost care safely handling them, never even had an accident, and now it's all trashed. They're loose not because I did something wrong, but because she went psycho. But everyone will still think it's my fault. Let's be real, insects and other exotic pets, especially ones that pose a risk if they escape or are handled improperly, aren't exactly looked well upon. The owner is always held responsible. She did apologize. She said she just got carried away because she was upset. But I just don't know if I buy that, because if she honestly had no control in the moment, then why are my ants the only thing to end up destroyed? In a really thorough way at that. She knows its importance to me. It's not like she just attacked my old books from college or something. Also, she'd been wearing shoes and gloves. That tells me the planning was there to not expose herself while exposing me and everyone else. What the F should I do? I would honestly kick her out over this, but it wouldn't be in the interest of public health because we're obviously quarantining together. Everyone is hunkered down. Right now, we're in separate rooms as I'm trying to clean this crap up best I can, and she shut herself in the bedroom. No idea what to do now. I'm still in shock she did this. I'll need to fumigate the whole apartment and be sure they're gone, and who knows when that will be able to happen. P.S. Living together for almost a year, dating for more than 2, if that matters. That sounds crazy. Like, that's not cool. What she did is completely unacceptable. I don't care how angry you are. But at the same time, I'm trying to think, what could you have possibly done to make her that upset? But yeah, that's not cool of her. I don't know what you should do. I mean, it's kind of a hard thing, but that's I don't know. That to me is kind of breakup territory. Our next story is titled, My Stepfather Slapped Me and I Don't Know How to Process It. I'm a 21-year-old female. He's a 64-year-old male. Hello, everyone. First, some backstory. I was adopted by my mother and late father. I love my mother and loved my dad. After he died 4 years ago, my mom remarried 2 years later with my current stepfather. Let's call him John. I have one younger brother, who's 17, the biological kid of my mom and late dad, and 2 stepsisters, both 10 years older than me. John generally doesn't care for me or my brother. Sometimes it feels like he is just leeching off of my mother, if that makes sense. I don't really like him, but we never had a big argument and just kind of try to live along until I finally move out. Me, brother, mom, and John live together. Now, to the present. Due to the coronavirus, we all had to stay at home the past couple weeks. Mom doesn't work right now, but John can work from home. Since everyone stayed home all day, naturally there was more talk in the family, and John opened up a little bit to us. He expressed some worldviews that I didn't expect of him, such as that the economy should continue running and it doesn't matter if old and sick people die because they are a burden to the country anyway. I told him that he is in fact old and sick. He has complications with the heart and is 64 years old. My brother was laughing at my remark, but John didn't take my comment well and told me to apologize. I was kind of taken aback because for me, I just stated a fact. I said that there was nothing to apologize to. He repeated that I needed to apologize. I looked at my mom and asked her to defend me. To my surprise, she also said that I should apologize to him. I asked what I did wrong and he started screaming at me to stop being disrespectful and that he is feeding us with the money that he earned and such. I started to cry because it felt like I was in a bad dream, and then he got up and just slapped me across the face. It came out of nowhere and I was just sitting there petrified. I guess I waited for my mom to say something, but she didn't, so I just got up and went into my room. I heard my brother screaming at my mom that he hated John. When I was in my room, my brother texted me if I needed comfort or anything, but I told him I'm okay. But I didn't feel okay and basically cried till I fell asleep. What made the feeling worse was that neither my mom nor John came to my room. Nothing. No asking how I was, just nothing. It's early morning now as I'm writing this and I still feel horrible. I don't want to get out of my room or see anyone. I still feel like I'm in a bad dream. I guess I'm just asking what to do now and if I was in the wrong or if my comment was offensive. I don't know. Well, I think first of all, he should never, ever, ever hit you. Like, a parent should never hit a child, especially like that, and like a slapping across the face. That's completely unacceptable. That is not tolerated. That is abusive. So that is not okay. No matter what you said, he should not have hit you. I think that his opinion is kind of crazy. It's not very sensitive or compassionate. But at the same time, that is his opinion, and that is a common opinion about the economy. And there's a good argument to be had about the economy. But you calling him old and basically telling him he could die in a humorous fashion is basically like saying you don't care about his life. So I can see why he would get upset. But to the point of slapping you is completely unacceptable. So I think everyone here, ultimately, you're not really that in the wrong. Yeah, you laughed at him possibly dying, which I think would offend somebody, especially in a sensitive moment when everyone's locked at home. But you getting slapped is completely unacceptable, and therefore I think nullifies and voids out anything that possibly could be wrong on your side, because I think what he did is completely over the line, and yeah, therefore that clears you in my book. So I don't know what to do though. Like, you're stuck in that house now, and now you're afraid because there's an abusive parent. So I don't know what you could do aside from calling the police, really, and just telling them, hey, my stepdad just hit me. What do I do? Our next story is titled, My Little Brother is Out of Control and I Don't Think I Know How to Parent Him Properly. Backstory. I, a 21-year-old female, am the legal guardian of my 13-year-old sister, A, 14-year-old twin brothers, B and C, and recently turned 16-year-old brother, D. Our parents died back 2015. They were driving home one evening after going on their date night, and they were hit by a drunk driver. They died on impact. Our maternal grandmother then became our legal guardian. She was my rock and my co-parent, but she unfortunately passed back in March of 2018. I have since been the sole and legal carer of my siblings. I am worried about my brother D. D has some really warped and disgusting views when it comes to women. He somehow excludes me and our baby sister A from his strong-held views, as we are not like the other girls. Back in December 2019, I got a call from a parent from his school complaining about his online bullying of their daughter. Apparently, my brother and some other boys had been DMing her and saying he wished she was forced upon, beaten, and lit on fire. He didn't use those words specifically, but the memes he sent were very violent and could only be taken to mean as such. Extra info on the incident, I confronted my brother and he tried to say it wasn't that deep. He tried to say it was just memes and gifs, but I wasn't having that BS excuse. We got into big argument and eventually I took away his access to our Wi-Fi. I confiscated all his devices, including his phone, and had him on house arrest for 3 months. He was only allowed to go to school and back, so no friends, no activities, no TV or internet, no phone, literally nothing. He eventually calmed down from the initial shock of the length of his punishment, and then I had him write long letters apologizing to the poor girl and her mother. We went and hand-delivered it with our apologies. Thankfully, they accepted our apology. I then continued to keep a close eye on him, and I believed he was behaving. Last month, I did one of my random checks to see if the kids' internet usage and to check which websites they regularly used and who they spoke to or what they spoke of. I noticed that D has been on what I can only describe as incel sites where disrespectful young boys and crazed grown men congregate to trash talk women and girls. I guess that's where he learned the word simp. I never knew what it was, but he's been using it so much that B and C were regularly using it. Our little sister A is really interested in makeup, and the boys, especially D, have made several disparaging comments towards her dream job or the woman she looked up to. A wanted to one day own her own makeup brand. She no longer talks about her love for makeup, fashion, or design as freely as she once did. The boys are literally killing her confidence, her belief in herself, other women, and even in men. I don't know why D hates women or doesn't respect them. He has been loved and cared for by women all his life. How do I help him? I can't afford a therapist or do much that costs money. For your information, we already go to a free grief counseling program in our area. Also, when advising, please factor in that I am poor. For your information, D is very popular at school. He has many friends, both online and real world, and he has many girls chasing him. He gets along easily with most girls or women, and people in general are drawn to him. This behavior has been going on since I would say late 2018 of November or December. I only noticed it around April or May of 2019 and took it very seriously from his online bullying incident. I don't feel like he's lost, as he understands things when I sit down with him and explain why the things these men say is so hurtful and why he shouldn't be replicating it. Edit. I gave up my childhood so that my siblings could have one. So I really don't understand why he feels the way he does. He has no real responsibility other than to himself. The only thing the kids are responsible for are their chores: walking and feeding the dog, feeding the cat, cleaning their rooms, doing their homework, and filling their laundry baskets. And every 3 months we deep clean the house together from top to bottom. I do everything else on the regular, like cook them dinner, make them breakfast and lunch, sort out their laundry, clean the house, help them with their homework, drive them to and from their extracurricular activities, outgoings, and their friends. An explanation on why I check up on their internet and phone usage. Edit. Some of the advice I will be implementing or looking into. He will be getting a job as soon as the whole lockdown is done, so that he has something productive to do and he gets to have a little money. I will be looking into the Big Brother Sister program for all of them. I also will be signing him up on some sort of sport-related activity. He likes to run, and so that may be something. The twins already take swimming. I will also be focusing on A more so she doesn't lose her confidence and knows that I am always on her side. I will hopefully be able to find her something with fashion and makeup, so she can pursue it with confidence and my support. Edit. I know what the word simp is, and I understand it can be used in a humorous way. That is not the way D and his friends use it in. Also, we don't believe in a god, so church, synagogue, or mosque support youth services aren't an option, but thank you. Well, yeah, that last part is kind of like, unfortunately, your parents passed, and that's terrible. Your grandmother passed, that's horrible, and you've been given so much responsibility at such a young age. That is absolutely devastating as well. And I think at your young age, you weren't prepared to raise so many people, and that kind of responsibility is insane. So you can only learn as you go. And you're in a situation where you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of experience as an adult. It's not fair. The whole situation just sucks. And I think that naturally the younger kids, they're going to process it differently, and obviously he turned to what gets him recognition and makes him feel cool and accepted, because he probably has other sorts of issues with that, being that he lost his parents and everything close to him, and now he's being raised by his sibling. I do think that maybe the church thing could help, but if you don't believe in God, then it's going to be hard for you to turn to that. So that's something that I guess you're just going to have to figure out, that I guess the world just exists for some reason and everything sucks. I do think that you should appreciate people and teaching him to respect anyone, especially, it doesn't matter, women or men, you should just respect everyone. But having that kind of disrespect towards females, especially in a violent nature, is completely unacceptable. And if he listens to you, I think you should just have to invest more time into that and explain to him that, as a family, you guys should love each other, and that they shouldn't be degrading their siblings for what they're interested in, especially if that's going to deter them from having confidence. And if he's as level-headed as you say he is, then he should be able to understand that. I think you just have to spend more time talking to him. I think extracurricular activities, enrolling them in sports, and then having them into like local programs that offer mentorship, I think is a really good thing as well, because it sounds like they need more of that in their life, especially because there's no parental figures around and you guys are in like a terrible situation. So I hope that works out for you and you're able to find a good solution to all that. I really do, because it sounds like your situation is extremely, extremely difficult, and I wish you the best. So anyways, that is it for today. Thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If I know there's some controversial things that have probably been said here, so if you feel any different, I apologize. It's nothing against you. I care for all of you. I hope you all are doing good. And if you do like these types of videos and you're not too angry after what I just said, then maybe you can consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you all for your continued support. It means a lot, and I hope that you all are staying safe out there. Also, if you would like to join the Discord, we have an amazing community with a bunch of awesome people from all around the world and different opinions. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. And also, if you'd like to follow me on any of my other social medias, those links are also in the description below as well. Again, I hope you're staying safe out there. And with that being said, we'll see you next time.